Story 1. The best advice I ever received in my life. Get good at doing something wealthy people need, and you will always have work. The guy who told me this fixed air conditioning on yachts. No one who can afford a yacht is going to put up with the air conditioning not working on it, no matter what the current economic situation is like. Story 2. Realistically, it takes a long time. You are going to need a job that allows you to make more money than you spend. Invest at least 20% of that money into index funds, high-interest savings accounts, certificates, and so on consistently and frequently, and let it grow over decades. If you do this and maximize your 401k contributions, you will eventually become a millionaire and have enough to retire. How do you become rich sooner as an average person with an average job? Have wealthy parents who pass away. Story 3. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who does not pays it. Ben Franklin. Edit. This comment got some traction, and I am seeing a lot of people disagree or downplay compounding in the thread. So I want to address some of what I am seeing. 1. Compound interest alone will not make you wealthy. It is just one of the tools, arguably the most important one, that helps along the way. You need to continually save and contribute to the investment and do it over a long time span of 30 to 40 years. It is important to start as early as possible and keep doing it consistently. Interest in this quote can be interchanged with returns. There are very few fixed interest rate investments these days that will give you proper returns. Low-cost index and bond funds, while reinvesting your dividends, provide compound returns, which gives you the same benefit. The compound is the important part of the quote, not interest. Take advantage of tax benefits. Tax-advantaged accounts are some of the best tools available to everyone to help grow your balance. Individual retirement accounts, employer-sponsored retirement plans, health savings accounts. Learn about all of them and which you can leverage to help you reach your goals. Diversify your investments so no single event will totally wipe you out. You will have up years and down years, but the most important thing is always being able to continue. Pay attention to and control your expenses. The two components of being able to save are your earnings rate and your expenses. The net of that is your possible savings rate. It is much more difficult to control and grow your earnings rate than it is to simply lower your expenses. Learning to live off less than you make and controlling your expenses will help you with every aspect of your life. Avoid debt as much as you can. Do not finance a car. Do not use credit cards if you cannot pay off the balance in full every month. Do not use any buy now, pay later services. Pay off your mortgage as fast as you can. If you do all of this and consistently save over a decades-long time frame, compounding will take care of the rest, I promise. This is all stuff the average person has access to and can use that will get you wealthy in your life. Story 4. It depends on how you define being rich. If you are looking at it from being financially secure where you are comfortable, you have to earn more than you spend. If you are looking at it from becoming financially independent, then you will need to save, invest, and work. If you are looking for financial independence money, start a business. Story 5. In general, the most likely path looks something like this. 1. Identify a lucrative career path relative to the amount of training investment, college, trade school, apprenticeship, etc. required to become proficient and identify it early. In the United States, software engineering used to be a slam dunk, but now the trades are very in demand. Plumber, HVAC technician, electrician, and similar roles. Work hard to excel in the training needed to become proficient. Study hard in college and work hard and learn well in an apprenticeship. These are years of investment. Don't spend too much time not investing in yourself. That being said, you can still have lots of fun when you're young. I'll talk a little bit about debt later, but if you can avoid going into too much student debt, do so. Don't go to an Ivy League school if a state school will get the job done too. Get as many scholarships as you can, and there are a lot of random ones out there. Spend a good amount of time trying to shop around for a good job or position for your skills. Solid wage, good benefits, especially a good retirement program. Learn some negotiation skills so you can try and haggle your way into a little more during interviews. Learn how to interview so you become comfortable doing it, as you'll want to do it often to see if any better prospects come through. Work hard at your job, but don't be married to it. Leveraging your current position and experience to launch you to a better position is a big part of wage and career growth. Interview even when you're comfortable just to see what comes up and whether you could reasonably switch. My father-in-law is a very successful software engineer and project manager, and he interviews for jobs as a hobby. It frightens me, but he also has had a very successful career and went from basically average wealth to being decently wealthy around retirement age. Save way more than you think. Go all out on your 401k, as much as you're allowed or as much as your company matches. The more money you save in growth areas, the more will come in from interest. Maintain a sizable emergency fund for months of expenses if something happens, but keep it in something that can grow but still be fairly liquid so you can get a return on it. Budget religiously. Know exactly where your money comes from and where it goes. If it seems like something is eating up too much of your budget, fight to reduce it. Like getting in shape, you need to measure exactly what your inflows and outflows are so that you can control them and use them to your advantage, not the other way around. Be okay with used and subpar goods for a while. We all want the newest model of the hottest car, but if taking the more rundown but ultra-reliable used car that will last you another 10 years means you can save more and not be saddled with hefty new car loans and leases, do it. This can even translate to getting off-brand cereal instead of name brand, or shopping a sale instead of just getting the best thing. Is it a huge difference? Of course not. Your choice to get a latte or get fresh avocados for your toast almost certainly isn't going to make or break your chances at wealth, but a lot of little things like that can add up. Identify what you can reasonably do without or make do with a substitute, and do so. Be patient. For the majority of people, wealth growth is slow. It's entirely possible for most average citizens to become wealthy, but in virtually all cases, it's not going to be fast. Asset growth over long time horizons is what we're aiming for, which is also why the guy driving next to you in a shiny Corvette looks like your old uncle from the Midwest. It is extremely difficult and requires insane luck or wealthy, pushover parents to become wealthy when you're young. Don't take on debt if you don't have to. Student loans, for example, are useful debt. If you're using them to become a doctor, that's an awesome investment. But taking on a loan for a new car when an older but reliable car will do is not a good choice and could take away from your saving power. Use debt as a tool, but treat it like a very sharp knife. It can cut through some problems easily, but can also hurt you. That's the basic path. It's also the ideal. The corollary to this is that the reality for a lot of people is sometimes wrenches are thrown into the works. Layoffs, health crises, family crises. Part of my belief in a social safety net is that it should serve as a way to hoist people back onto this path if life pushes them off. But for the average person, this is the path to wealth, slow, steady, and disciplined. Story 6. Right place, right time. Everyone gets 2 to 3 chances to become super rich in their lifetime. In my time, it was Bitcoin. After that, it was Dogecoin. After that, it was Nvidia. I missed every single one of them. Will there be more? Probably. Do we know what they are? Probably not. Story 7. I have a family friend who was a child of a single mom during the Depression, meaning he was raised in extreme poverty. He became a multimillionaire. A friend who always wanted to be rich kept asking me for his secret, so I told him. After serving in World War II, he did nothing with his life. Then he was recalled for the Korean War. After 2 wars as a combat rifleman, he told himself he had to do something with his life, so he got a degree in a business field. He worked in that field, living a pretty good middle-class lifestyle for the next 20 years, when the company he worked for was forced to sell. He risked his middle-class lifestyle, mortgaged everything he had along with a couple of partners, and bought the business. For 20 more years, he put every penny back into the business, with his wife complaining about giving up her nice middle-class lifestyle for this, and driving old cars while his employees had better ones. Finally, the business took off. They were bought out by a large corporation, and he came out with tens of millions, which he proceeded to invest carefully, still driving used cars. Today, in his 90s, he is worth over 100 million. So the answer I gave my friend was to learn a skill, get a job that pays the bills, take a risk when opportunity presents itself, and keep investing in yourself, your business, and the economy. With luck, perhaps 50 years later, you might be wealthy. It was not the answer he wanted to hear. Only a very few become wealthy in their youth. Winning it, inheriting it, or being a super genius without decades of effort. Time, investment, and patience are the way to do it. It's not as easy as it sounds, since most of us can't do that. Story 8. Pretty much by definition, an average person cannot be rich. A small percentage of people get rich by being exceptionally good at, say, music, sports, or salesmanship. What is far more common is that rich people had some kind of considerable head start that is not available to average people. The most realistic way would be to pursue a high-demand and well-compensated career such as cardiology or plumbing, then be unusually scrupulous about saving and investing, and marry a partner doing exactly the same thing. Story 9. Most of those I know who came into wealth did so through 4 ways. 1. They inherited real estate which had increased tremendously in value and sold it. They got lucky. No perseverance or cleverness or anything else. Just something worked out in a way that put them on the right path. They married someone who had money or went on to inherit it. They did immoral or illegal things. For example, hypothetically, they spent years working for a small business gaining skills, insights, and experience while stealing supplies from their employer to then open an identical business and undercut them in price to steal away all their business until the former employer is forced to close and then raise prices. Story 10. Step 1. Have your highest insurance deductible covered. Step 2. Maximize any employee 401k match. Step 3. Eliminate high-interest debt. Step 4. 3 to 6 months of emergency savings. Step 5. Fund Roth and health savings account. Step 6. Put any extra dollars into your 401k. Story 11. Winning the biggest jackpot at the lottery is genuinely the most realistic way for most people. Earning and investing will get you, at best, a comfortable middle-class lifestyle. Story 12. So let's keep it real simple. Have you ever heard of a big snowball rolling down a hill? The ball starts small but gets bigger as it rolls and grabs more and more snow. The bigger it gets, the more snow it grabs. That's what you're going to do. Start saving and investing some money. Even $5 a week adds up over 40 years. Pick an investment vehicle like what you use to invest the money. I suggest a Roth individual retirement account. $7,000 a year max can be put in. You pay taxes on the way in but not on the way out if you are older than 62 years old. Invest in something using your vehicle. I'd suggest a broad market index fund. Pick whatever works for you. Start investing money in the fund you pick using the vehicle you choose. Maximize your contribution every year. Profit stocks only go up. Story 13. Be frugal, practice minimalism, and live life according to the principles of financial independence. Retire early. If you spend to pretend to be rich, you never will be. Story 14. Sacrifice. There's a great little anecdote that I experienced firsthand in 2002 at good old Pasadena City College. I took a finance class. Day 1, my instructor walks in wearing a pilot's uniform. We didn't know what was happening until he explained. He had just obtained his pilot's license. In the process, he sold his car, moved back in with his mom, and began eating cheap college food on campus and nearby. He didn't have time to go back to his mom's and change. He came straight from Los Angeles International Airport to the classroom. We all laughed because we wondered why a pilot was teaching. And he said, "I'm not a teacher. I'm a pilot. I just use teaching to help me become a pilot." It provided me flexible hours where I could work nights while attending pilot school during the day. I had to sell off my car. I couldn't date anyone. Life was generally tough. But now I'm a pilot. I can afford to move out, buy a nice house with a sports car, and I'm sure I'll find a woman who is attracted to me. Temporary sacrifice. Story 15. It is so simple it hurts to see people, especially young adults, not do it. Pay yourself first. Also known as consider yourself as a bill and pay yourself before paying anything else when the paycheck comes. Invest that money. Wait. Story 16. People need to understand that the millionaires in this country are middle class. If you have ever discussed or complained about the price of gas, you are not middle class in America. You are poor. Story 17. I have a couple of solutions. 1. Don't follow your passion. Do the thing you can do that makes you the most money. I'm a wage slave just like most everybody else, But I didn't go to school to follow my dreams. I went to school to learn a craft I could use to make money. I played to the intersection of my strengths and market demands. I got into software engineering, and I'm a 97th percentile earner. Don't delude yourself. Don't get a useless degree. Get a degree in something that has sufficient demand and will make you real money. I have a friend who is an oil painter. She's really good at it, too. But this isn't the 17th century in Paris. While a commission is worth thousands of dollars and she's on par with comparable work, she can't land a commission. It's a stubborn choice. There's money in art, in marketing, but she won't. It's not smart. And if I could go back and do it again, I'd go into finance and trading. It's not so much that I like it, but I can do it and make more than I'm making. By the time I intersected trading software and trading as a business in general, I was too deep and committed in my current career to start over. Still, I'm going to retire early as a multimillionaire. That's not a bad target to aim for. Run a business. I tried this twice. Made enough to break even and get out. I don't have the temperament for it, not really. But my brother does, and he makes $2 million per year and is still growing. Starting a business from scratch is really ambitious and a bit naive, but we're in a unique position right now. Baby boomers are retiring, and a lot of boomer business owners are looking for someone to hand off to. Often their children are not fit or interested in taking on a business, so they have to look outward for a successor to sell to. Do what my brother did just a couple of years ago. Walk down to the Chamber of Commerce and start a conversation with the receptionist. After a couple of months, my brother found a successful, thriving business, came to an agreement, got a business loan, and put a down payment for the buyout. He took over and actually grew the business from where it was so fast he bought the guy out and paid off that loan years in advance. No matter what you do, make more, spend less. There's no trick. There's no gimmick to making money. Someone doesn't have to lose for you to win. It's not who you know, because how did they get rich? It always starts somewhere. Is there risk? Absolutely, there is, but what is the risk? If my business is flopped, I would have walked away broke. Oh well, starting again from zero isn't bad. It's real easy. Is there luck? Absolutely, there is. If you didn't need luck, there wouldn't be risk. Are these plans easy to screw up? Absolutely, they are. Arrogance and ignorance are your enemies. You think you're some genius or you have an awesome idea that entitles you, and if you're greedy or if you don't know what you're doing, you can make some really bad decisions.